Hello everybody, my name is Kieran from The Checkpoint, the only gaming channel that gave you my heart, and welcome to my top 5 countdown of the best games of 2014. Now obviously this is just going to be a very subjective video. These are going to be my opinions on what the best games in 2014 were. Obviously you guys are going to have a really different opinion to mine on what the best games were, so I'm going to be really interested to see what your games, your top 5 games would be, so if you want to leave them down in the comment section down below, I'd be really interested to see that. But anyway, let's go on with the countdown, and at number 5 I'm going to be putting Advanced Warfare, obviously the latest edition of the Call of Duty franchise, and it is technically a 2014 release even though it's November, but I was when I first saw this game being announced earlier this year, I was a little bit skeptical. I was like, is this maybe a push too far in this direction? I was a bit like, eh. And then the multiplayer footage came out in August, and my hopes were raised. It did look like a lot of fun, although I was still a bit concerned over things, little nitty gritty things like time to kill. But having played the game itself, it is one of the most fun games I've ever played. It's definitely fast paced, which is what we needed, and it's like the polar opposite of what we received from Ghosts, which was obviously released last year. It's a very fast paced game. And now that the preliminary issues of the game have been sorted out, the connection has more or less been sorted out for most people. If it hasn't been sorted out for you, then your internet is terrible. And they seem really up to it in terms of weapon balance. Obviously, some of the weapons aren't nearly as balanced as they should be, such as some of the submachine guns. But Sledgehammer Games are looking really active with the community. They're putting out frequent patches to fix things that the community don't like about the game, such as the upcoming system hack nerf, the nerf of the BAL, and the improvement of some of the submachine guns. They just generally are looking really involved with the community to produce the best Call of Duty game they've ever seen, similar to what Treyarch have done in the past. Treyarch obviously like to be really involved with the community, and it looks like Sledgehammer are doing the same, and hopefully their DLC will be a very, very fun time. But anyway, at number 4 I'm going to be going with The Last of Us Remastered. Obviously this is a remake of the original PS3 game The Last of Us. Now despite not actually owning the game, I have played it multiple times at a friend's house, and it is incredible. It is a very, very fun game. And it's got lots of different genres. You could be an adventure part, and then there's really spooky parts, scary. And it's just a really, really nice looking game as well. The graphics of it are absolutely incredible. Obviously, I haven't played enough of it as I'd like to, because obviously it's a PlayStation exclusive, and I don't have a PlayStation 4. But from what I've seen of the game, and from what I've played quite a bit of it, it's really, really good. It almost made me want to buy a PlayStation 4 just for this game. But unfortunately it's not on the Xbox One, because that would be really, really fun. But that's definitely one of my solid choices for number 4. And coming in at number 3 is going to be Titanfall, which may be a surprise game on the list. A lot of people didn't really like this game. However, I thought as a core game it was a very, very good thing. Obviously the amount of options we had, the range of games we could play on it was limited. Obviously it only pretty much had multiplayer. I'm not really going to count the single player in there, because it's basically just like combat training. You're just playing the multiplayer maps with some cutscenes, so I didn't really count that as a single player. I was hoping there was going to be a single player campaign story. That would have been really cool, but unfortunately we didn't get that. But as a core multiplayer game itself, it definitely delivered. It was fast paced, not going to lie. Obviously you guys will know that from there. And it just gave us a new dimension in terms of FPS. And a lot of people were comparing it to Advanced Warfare, and it is nothing like Advanced Warfare. They are two extremely different games, and just the fact that you can double jump in both games somehow makes them the same, even though they're completely different. But Titanfall as a whole, I just really enjoyed it. I definitely played a lot of it, and it just as a FPS game to play, it's obviously very fast paced, and I really enjoyed that. So coming in at number 2 is going to be Destiny. Obviously that was released in September. Now Destiny received a bit of slack with the community from after a month from it was released, and I think that's basically due to it being majorly overhyped in its upcoming pre-release stages. But as a whole game, it is just incredible. I mean, having the ability, it's the first game of its kind. Having the ability to free roam FPS. It's all a first-person shooter. You can free roam, and then just being able to go into a different mission with other random players, being able to explore the massive expansion of open area. I guess the expansion of open area, kind of the bits you can explore, are a bit more limited than I was expecting. I was kind of expecting something like GTA, but on kind of like a galaxy-sized scale. Obviously, that would be impossible, but I was definitely very pleased with what we got. We kind of got really large areas which we could explore, and kind of different ways of grinding the game out. You could go to the Crucible, you could repeat missions and get kind of different rewards. You can just run about in the free roam and kind of collect some loot and collect some items that you need to upgrade your armor. Just as a whole, it's definitely what I like to do in the game. It kind of reminded me of RuneScape. Obviously, it's nothing like RuneScape in that sense, but it's the same principle. You know, you kind of collect items, you kind of train your character, get your levels up in several different ways. And I thought the way that they just integrated the orbit system, how you could go from the tower to sort of the tower to multiplayer to different single player levels. I just find that the way they integrated that instead of just like a blank loading screen, that was one of the things I liked the most about the game. Because obviously just a blank loading screen is just like but obviously being able to travel in your spaceship from part to part was just a really fun time. So number 1, my favourite game of 2014 was Watch Dogs. See, it was kind of released right before my exams, which didn't help because I played a lot of Watch Dogs, and I cannot tell you how much I enjoyed that game. I do think it's probably one of the best video games I've ever played, and I kind of stayed true to my word that it's like a next-gen GTA. Obviously we have GTA on the next-gen consoles now, but Watch Dogs just took it to that one level higher. Just the interaction with the environment and kind of all the buildings, you could like lift bridges, traffic lights, you could do so much around. It was just awesome. One of the things that impressed me the most with the game, not only were the graphics absolutely incredible, like just looking at the water, like the ocean, it's just like, whoa, it looks like real water, it's incredible, instead of like just like a blue piece of paper that was GTA water. GTA 5 water was pretty good, but the thing that impressed me the most about the game was just the variation in the characters that you could see, and by characters I mean all the NPCs. You'd just be walking down a street and you could just see just like all the hustle and bustle of like Chicago. There'd just be so many people, each with their unique kind of personality. You would scan with your little iPhone thing, and every single person has a different thing. I've never seen the same kind of overview of a person's personality twice. It's always been different every time. It kind of gives their name, their occupation, their income, and kind of like a cool fact about them. And it's literally unlimited, the amount of variations there were. I haven't seen the same name, I haven't seen the same, obviously the income and jobs might be the same for some people, but they each have their little quirks, like just had their kidney removed last week or something. So things like that I just really enjoyed. It was just a really fun area to explore. I don't think the map wasn't as big as GTA, but there was definitely a lot more concentrated things to do within there. Obviously most of the GTA 5 map was just like mountains and kind of empty kind of desert or kind of just wildlife areas, whereas Watch Dogs, it's basically just one huge town. Obviously it's Chicago. It's not to scale with the size of Chicago. It's basically like Los Santos times, I'd say times 5 in terms of its area that it covers. The map is basically that size, and just as a whole the driving was really fun. It kind of it was a little bit different the way you drive to GTA, but I got used to that instantly. The different ways you could just drive all your cars, and you could the story itself as well. I briefly talk about the story. That was a lot of fun as well. I really enjoyed kind of how the campaign story kind of ended up, and the character you played, I kind of really got angry with some of the characters as well, because there were some right penises that were in that story. The only thing I would like to be improved about the game is the things you can do in multiplayer. Obviously you can hack each other. That's one thing I forget to mention. When you're just playing in your single player mission, some random person can enter your world, not voluntarily. You can't just keep entering someone's single player world because that'd be annoying, and it doesn't affect your personal kind of amount of money you have, your progression in the game. It doesn't take away anything from you. They just can hack into your account and steal some multiplayer points, which I forget what they're called. They're kind of like this purple currency, which is literally just for your progress and hacking other players. It doesn't affect your ability of what you can do as single player, and it doesn't take away any of your single player progression. And I just loved how you could just instantly spawn into someone's single player world with like no loading screens whatsoever. You literally just like teleported, you were in their world, or maybe unsuspectingly they would be in your world, which you may not know about. and it's kind of pretty funny. I'd just be playing single player, and then there'd just be the little alarm saying someone's hacking you, and you'd see another person of your character just running about in the crowd. And it was just really fun how you could do that. So that was definitely a very cool thing about multiplayer. But the thing where GTA 5 rises above Watch Dogs is obviously the games you can play in multiplayer. GTA 5 you could play all the different kind of races, and you could do kind of all the different mini games. Watch Dogs didn't really have as much as that. They kind of had all the different city games to do, but there just wasn't as much variation as GTA. So if there's one thing I could improve about Watch Dogs, it would definitely be the things you can do in multiplayer. But as a whole, obviously it's my favourite game of 2014, the favourite game I've played this year. It's just a very, very good game, and I think it still does rise above GTA 5 Next Gen. Obviously GTA 5 Next Gen is in first person, but I think I'd still prefer Watch Dogs to that. So guys, that's going to be my top 5 games of 2014. I hope you enjoyed it. As I said at the start of the video, if you have any differences in the countdown, your countdown might be completely different. Your top 5 games might be kind of, you might have Super Smash Bros, which I was considering to put in this countdown, and other games. So if you wanna leave what you'd put, feel free to put that in the comment section down below. So guys, thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like rating and subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you guys soon.